Hey, everybody, you can take your seats. We're going to start the program.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the beautiful Parkman Cellars in Woodinville, Washington. My name is Kimberly Ellerson. I'm the Executive Director of the Woodinville Chamber. For those of you who I have not met, but hopefully I have met everybody. We are so glad to be back in person today for our Chamber Business Luncheon. This has been a long time coming. And I want to take a moment to welcome all of those who are joining us today on our live stream on the Woodinville Chamber YouTube channel. For those of you who are not familiar, the mission of the Woodinville Chamber is to promote, strengthen, and represent a successful business community. So we like to host this candidate forum so that all of our members, our businesses, and those in the community can learn more about our candidates for the Woodinville City Council. So thank you everyone for joining us on today's live stream and for all of you in person. I have a few announcements. First, of course, I would love to thank our lovely host today, Sparkling Cellars Catering from Alexis Cafe and Catering. Thank you to David Inman Productions, who is bringing us today's live stream, and to Galen with GSC Productions for today's sound. I also want to thank our Chamber Platinum members, Chateau Saint Michel, Fairwinds Brittany Park, the YMCA, Washington Federal Bank, and Willows Lodge. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. And I'd love to thank our patron members, Alexis Cafe and Catering, Banner Bank, Evergreen Health, Moldax Garden and Home, the Rusty Pelican Cafe, Schnitzer Steel, Chick-fil-A, Bothell Canyon Park, the Woodinville Weekly, the Sammamish Valley Grange, and GSC Productions. As a chamber, we couldn't do what we do without the support of all of our members, the business community, and our platinum and patron members. So please give them a round of applause. I also want to thank our board members who are present today. Our chamber has a board of directors of 14, and with us today we have Greg Bill of Cashmere Partners. We have Christy Strite, our chair with the Pizza Coop and Ale House, and Clark Huber. We have Robin Ackerman with Willows Lodge, and Troy Anderson with 10 Home Team. So thank you to those board members who were able to join us today. I also see Tim Castle with Banner Bank, our treasurer. And with that, I would love to introduce one of our chamber ambassadors, who also happens to be our vice chair, Mr. Troy Anderson with 10 Home Team.
Yeah, am I muted?
No.
Y'all see me? Okay, all right. Well, this is live, it's not. Hey, I'd like to, some of the favorite things to do are ribbon cuttings and things like that, but I'd like to introduce, or not introduce, but announce members. And so what that means is new businesses to the community that have bet on Woodinville. So in June, we welcomed Elijah Farms, Sidekick Coffee, Accelerus Consulting, Route 522 Tap Room, Ascend Gymnastics, Northwest News, Swanky Scoop, Lisa Dupar Catering, Rock Harbor Ropes, and Carlisle Beruski, licensed massage therapist, and then Children's Therapy of Woodinville. So, welcome all of you members to the Woodinville Chamber. What a great menu, right? we would really like to give Chris Sparkman and Sparkman Sellers a round of applause for allowing us to be in person here at Sparkman Sellers. Hey, there he is. Come on in. Thanks for having us here today.
Amen.
Amen.
So we finally get to do this. Nice to see your faces here, alas. It's been a bit of a journey. But Kelly and I are very excited to have this happen. Thank you, Kimberly, and everybody at the Chamber, and all y'all for going out and we look forward to seeing we're having some fireworks today. Is that right? Fireworks. There's going to be some biscuit cups and spirited debate and whatnot. Yeah, good. So anyway, welcome y'all. Cheers.
Hi, I'll introduce myself, I guess. I'm Christy Strike. I am the board chair for the Woodinville Chamber. I am also a principal at Carpenter Grove's public accounting firm in Bellevue, and people think I do a lot for the Pizza Coop. My husband and I own that restaurant, but it doesn't think so. Just drink wine, pizza, hang out. Each month, we like to spotlight one of our platinum or patron members. And this month is Banner Paint, so we're going to welcome Tim Kelso here. He's also our treasurer of the board. So thank you.
All right, once again, I wanted to echo everybody's thoughts. It's really good to see everybody here in person. Zoom is great, but there are definitely some drawbacks to it. It's not all that, however, it allows us to live stream. So, for those people who couldn't make it here in person, it's great. I'd say that the pandemic has definitely accelerated the use of technology, not only in business, with working remotely or using Zoom and virtual meetings, but it's also changed a lot in banking. We aren't really as busy in the branch in terms of just everyday transactions like we used to be pre-pandemic. That doesn't mean that we're any less busy. Actually, I think it is a positive. Our clients are able to access their money more quickly, and that's really the goal of the bank. However, the bank still does have a purpose, because there are times where technology can be on the business side, where Zoom doesn't work, or when you come up with a question that Siri can't answer. It's nice to be able to call someone up and have them answer the phone and have them come up with an answer. So that's what we do here at Banner Bank, and we're going to keep on being there and answering the phone whenever we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. In addition, for this month, it's one of our first times meeting in person, but we wanted to make sure the candidates' voices were heard more than just those people that were comfortable being in the room. So we are offering a free live stream option for this event. And to make that happen, we actually had 3 sponsors that we want to thank for their contributions to allow us to live stream today's event. The Woodinville Weekly, Fairwinds Brittany Park, and Service Masters of Seattle. I'm going to read a couple of comments from 2 of those, and then I'm going to invite Woodinville Weekly up to speak. So the first one is Service Masters of Seattle was founded in 1984. They are a national award-winning company for Service Master Restore. The Woodinville office is ranked in the top 5 franchises in the country, and the Everett office currently ranks in the top 55 franchises in the country. The 5 operating divisions include 4 insurance repair divisions, on-location fire restoration, water mitigation, drying services, packing, cleaning, and storage. They also provide commercial cleaning, janitorial services, as well as reconstruction services. They employ over 120 people and serve more than 5,000 customers every year. Thank you, Service Master Seattle. The other one is Fairwinds Fairwinds Brittany Park is an extraordinary senior apartment community in the heart of Woodinville. I'm sure you've all seen it, where residents are encouraged to explore new opportunities for friendship, good health, and adventure. The carefree and vibrant community boasts 22 different floor plans comprised of studios, 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes for those 62 and older. Included in the monthly rent are enjoyable meals, engaging activities, great amenities, and helpful services intended to enrich each resident's quality of life. Imagine a community with its own restaurant, bistro, gym, theater, community gardens, salon, many areas for people to gather together to share common interests. The ideal location in downtown Woodinville's newest neighborhood is surrounded by beautiful landscape sidewalks, leading to a variety of interests and attractions. Please take a minute to come visit them, Fairwinds Brittany Park. It's a good life. And then last but certainly not least, we would like to welcome up Woodinville with these Maddie Coates, who is here today and would like to say a few words.
Hi everyone, my voice is going to shake because I'm a writer and not a speaker. Hi everyone, my name is Maddie Coates. I'm the general manager at Woodinville Weekly. We've been growing and changing a lot over the last few months, so I wanted to share some good updates. Our small team of about 3 of us publishes a weekly newspaper, which some of you may notice looks a little different this week. One of those reasons is because we just transitioned to a broadsheet paper, which means it's a little longer so that we can provide our readers with more content each week. Secondly, we just welcomed the reporter, Addison McLean, who's over there, and you're going to see her byline a lot more, so let's look at that as well. She graduated from Wazoo, but we try not to hold against her. I hope all of you got a chance to see our first annual Woodinville magazine this summer. If anybody didn't get a chance, I still have several boxes in your car, I haven't heard them, so please come see me. Initially, the magazine was supposed to be a yearly publication, but honestly, the positive everything from everybody has been so amazing that we decided to put out a second issue in November. So look out for that. If anybody wants to place an ad or contribute some sponsored content, I'm to talk to, so come find me. And then lastly, for all you outdoors enthusiasts, our company recently acquired a quarterly magazine, Outdoors Northwest. The magazine, which is based out of Washington, Oregon, and parts of Idaho, covers everything: cycling, running, biking, swimming, literally everything. So if you have any story ideas or know anybody in the community doing awesome things, please let us know. Finally, thank you for supporting us through the pandemic. I don't know if we would have survived without you guys. And thank you for the Chamber for hosting this event, because we know the importance of being an informed voter, and it's events like these that truly educate the public. So thank you, and
Now I'll invite Kimberly Ellison back up. She's going to introduce Jake Whittingworth, our moderator today.
Well, thank you, everybody. A big part of our chamber, obviously, is promoting all of our local businesses. So we appreciate you taking the time to listen and hear from our sponsors and learn about our new members. One new member that just joined us yesterday was on a choice list, and that is Concord Peru. And Matilda is actually here with us today, so thank you, Matilda, for joining as well. With that, let's get to our candidate forum. I am so honored that we have the opportunity to have Jake Whittenberg from King 5 News with us today. Jake is an anchor on King 5 Mornings alongside co-anchor Mimi Jung. He's covered stories from Seattle to Cuba and back, and from Eastern Washington to Pearl Harbor, and several cities in between. Jake is also a trailblazer in Seattle by pioneering digital coverage and YouTube content. When not at the anchor desk, he's storytelling on air and online. Jake has won 7 regional Emmy Awards, Associated Press Broadcaster of the Year, and several other writing and reporting accolades, as well as been part of the team that won an Edward R. Murrow. When Jake is not covering the news, he MCs community events, like this one, golf tournaments. Jake loves fishing, golfing, spending time with his wife Tara and their 2 children, Lula and Ollie. Please give a warm welcome and welcoming today's moderator, Jake Whittenberg.
introduction. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate it. The sound effects. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks everybody for having me today. Sure appreciate you inviting me to play host here for you this afternoon. As Kimberly mentioned, I'm Jake Whitberg. I'm your morning anchor on King 5 News. A proud Woodinville resident and a member of Sparkman Sellers. So that helps. Thank you, Chris. Because of the nature of the morning show too, this is a luncheon for y'all, but it's kind of dinner for me, so this works out just fine. And I've adopted the word y'all too, thanks to Chris. I wish we could all be together in person, but it's so cool to have so many of you on our live stream here, and what a great turnout today. This is one of the biggest in-person events I think I've been to in quite some time, so it's just thrilling to see everybody smiling faces. And super excited to be here, not just because of my proud residency here in Woodinville, but because I love elections, I love politics, I love everything about it. Coming from a family of reporters and journalists, I've been doing it my whole life, so it's such an exciting time. And I think, like you, we care a lot about the bright future of us in Woodinville. So let's get to this. Let's talk about how this is going to work today. Your candidate forum brought to you by the Woodinville Chamber. We're going to invite the candidates up 2 by 2 to the podiums here. One of you will stand here, one will stand here. We'll start with position number 1 and work our way down. First, with position number 1, candidates Michelle Evans and Phil Mark. We'll also introduce council position number 3, Robin White and Rachel Best Campbell. Council position number 4, Michael Millman. Number 5, candidates Jesse McGraw and Sarah Art. And City of Woodinville Council position number 7, candidates James Randolph and Gary Harris. Each candidate will have a total of 3 minutes to talk today. 1 minute, you'll be asked to give a first introduction of who you are. Please include why you are running, where you come from, and what you hope to accomplish as a city council member. You will have 1 minute after that to provide a response to a specific question that we have from the chamber and from other Woodinville residents that have submitted questions for today. And then the other candidate will have a 1 minute rebuttal or response to that candidate's response. If you'll be timed, we'll cut you off. We'll give you a hard wrap if you hit 1 minute. Please try to keep your answers to that time period. We also encourage all of you, of course, to be civically engaged. Ballots go on October 15th for the special election. All of you at home, remember, vote by 8 p.m. on November 2nd, election day. It's very important to have your voice heard. All right, so without much further ado, let's get this forum started. I want to introduce first candidates for position number 1, Michelle Evans and Phil Mark. Please take it away. Thank you both for being here. Ms. Evans, we'll start with you. You have 1 minute to introduce yourself. Tell us why you're running and what your role should be.
Okay. My name is Michelle Evans, and 14 years ago, my husband Jason and I decided to make Woodinville our forever home, a place to raise our children. And 9 years ago, when I left my job at Microsoft, I decided to start my business, my strategic consulting business. And one thing that we've seen over our time here in Woodinville is how much it's grown and changed. But one thing that hasn't grown and changed is our master traffic plan for the city, which has resulted in a lot of congestion. Just last Friday, my kids wanted pizza, so I ordered a pizza from our local pizza place, and it took 18 minutes to go less than 1 mile from my house to the business, driving. And this is just going to get worse as the city keeps growing and changing. And so part of the reason why I'm running for city council is I want to lend my strategic thinking to the growth and the expansion that we are experiencing here to make sure that Woodinville is a great place to live, work, and play. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. For the candidates as well, we have a timer up here. Very, very visible for you to see. You did just fine. We're just pointing that out. Mr. Martin, if you would mind giving a 1 minute opening statement as well, please.
Sure. Good morning. I have, for the last almost 25 years, lived and loved the lifestyle. I just think it's a great place for family, for business. Since moving here in the late 90s, I've seen the city develop services and opportunities. We are not without our challenges, obviously, with traffic and growth. But of course, we are given these growth targets by the State Growth Management Act. which tells us how many jobs we need, how much population, and so on and so forth. There's no penalty there is no reward if we hit the goals of the population target, but there are penalties if we don't. And we can actually lose up to 41% of our revenue stream if we don't get the numbers. So our task is just to make it all work.
Thank you. That was not me. In the spirit of us being as smart good sellers, Mr. Mark, I'm going to start our first question with you. You have 1 minute to respond. How will you support our small businesses, our wineries, and our Woodinville economy? Would you make tourism a priority if elected? Please be specific. You have 1 minute.
Well, we've got 13,000 or so residents in the city of Woodinville. And the latest tourism stats show that over 750,000 people came to Woodinville in 2019 pre-COVID. To come drink in our wineries, to go to concerts, to partake of our hospitality. It's not just the hospitality industry, it's institutions like Malbecs that draw in a lot of people. And basically, I think insofar as our business community, we need to streamline our permitting process and expedite that to facilitate businesses wanting to come in here and do business. That's the main thing that comes to mind. I'm sorry, I have 8 seconds left, and that's where I'll go.
No problem. Ms. Evans, you have 1 minute to respond.
Okay, so as a business owner myself, I am very supportive of small businesses here in Woodinville. I think it's a great place to live, to work, start a business, and for people to come here to play. So some of the things that I would like to support, obviously, is things like Celebrate Woodinville, that brings people into the city and allows them to experience what Woodinville is all about, our outdoor lifestyle, friendly community, lots of great wineries who support that. I also would like to see a strategic plan for getting around the city. So trails, bike lanes, sidewalks, things to make Woodinville easier to experience and for people to get around to all the great businesses without having to just drive. Because it's easy to drive past something and not even know that it's there. It's a lot harder when you're walking and experiencing.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. And a question for you to follow up. This question comes to us from Woodinville resident Ivy, who asks, do the candidates consider social justice a local issue? How do they plan to advance equity and inclusion in our city? In 1 minute.
Yeah, social justice is definitely an issue that affects not just Woodinville, but all around us. Just yesterday, I went on to Zillow to see what houses were selling for in Woodinville. The least expensive house I could find was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,100 square foot condo that's selling for $495,000. The most expensive was about $3.4 million within the city limits. Now, as a parent, and my oldest is 19, I was with a 13 and a 10-year-old, I worry about where our kids are going. Because affordable housing is definitely a social justice issue. One thing I would like to do is establish a diversity council. Cities all around us have done this to make sure that we're listening to the lived experiences of business owners and residents all over the city. That we're not just taking a small amount of input, but that we're really being specific about going out and getting feedback from those in the community, and that's how we're addressing it.
Thank you for the response. Mr. Mark, you have 1 minute to respond to the social justice issue.
Yes, thank you. Affordable housing is always an issue up here in this land of rapidly increasing real estate values. The state or the King County folks have given us guidelines on how to set up affordable housing in our city. Some of the other communities have, like Redmond, for example, has managed to make it work with all of their apartment complexes going in downtown. That's just a real tricky issue when you have the average house here selling for over $800,000. and affordable housing being approximately 85% of what the average or median house value is. So how do we do that? I don't have a concrete plan other than to work with council, listen to the citizens, come up with, just listen to the evidence, pro and con, and how do we set that up? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Michelle Evans and Phil Mark.
Thank you.
Council candidate for position number 1. No cow sound effect for that? Okay, he's good. Good morning. All right, let's welcome up council position candidate, position number 3 candidates, Rachel White and Rachel Best Campbell. Sorry, Robin White and Rachel Best Campbell. Thank you, right, mistake. Robin White was unable to attend today. She did provide us a statement, which she's asked us to read, and we've agreed to do that. This is directly from candidate Robin White. Firstly, I'd like to offer my apologies for not being able to participate live today due to pending COVID test results, and to say thank you to the Chamber for reading this in my absence. I'm running for City Council position 3 to be an active listener of the public and bring their concerns to the council for action. I believe the council needs to balance elected members chosen by the public, members of various backgrounds and perspectives, and not just appointed members chosen internally in order to maintain proper balance and transparency. Woodinville is a diverse city, and everyone's voice must be heard and represented, even when we disagree. We must work together to make the best decisions possible in order to do the greatest amount of good for our community. I will bring a fresh vision for challenges facing Woodinville while preserving what we love most about it. Given my scientific background, I examine proposals from all angles prior to making a decision, for decisions should be made based on logic and reason, not emotions. I commit to tackling issues like traffic and transit, improved bike and walking paths, housing solutions, environment and land protection, small business support, health and safety, and of course, no gun. I have called Woodinville home since 2014 and will contribute to an inclusive, welcoming city we are all proud of. That's from candidate Robin White. Ms. Beth Campbell, thank you for being here today. We have a first question for you. This question comes to us from Tanner, a Woodinville resident who submitted the question. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. That's what we need, cow noise. You have 1 minute to let us know what you are looking for as a council candidate.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be out of the indoors, people want to see smiles and the audience, everything that went out. I just want to let you know who I am. We haven't seen each other in 18 months. My name is Rachel Best Campbell. My husband Alex is sitting over there with my hand with us this afternoon. My husband and I have been in Woodinville for 21 years. We got here right after we graduated from college. We did the math and health. We had a manager. We lived up here. I have a degree in human biology. He has a degree in computer science. We've lived here 21 years, which means my son's been here only 16, so he doesn't quite have the tenure that we have. Volunteerism has been in my blood since I was very young. I volunteered in high school, I volunteered in my son's school, and it seemed fitting that I came to volunteer when there was a vacancy on the council. Council needs people who are willing to volunteer to make their city a better place. What's important is that we view our job as serving you. So I spend a lot of time out in the community, talking to you, hearing your feedback, and then bringing it back to council to find an equitable solution that works for everyone. Be it businesses, be it individuals, everybody's voice matters. And it's important to consider that the problems that we have now are not individual problems, they're interconnected. So we have issues with affordable housing.
Thank you. Just 1 minute. We have one question now from Tanner. How are you going to improve our roads and better handle the increased traffic? In order for businesses to thrive, they need access and visibility. What will you do to help transportation and help businesses thrive?
So transportation is an interesting issue. I'm sure everybody's noticed State Route 202. State Route 202 means the state owns that route. So any adjustments that we need to make to that route, we have to do in conjunction with the state, which means we have to ask their permission, and we also need their money to do it. The trust the railroad trestle, is the number one example of why we have a traffic problem here in Woodinville. The past several sessions down in Olympia, we have been asking our legislators to provide us money to fix it. Woodinville has been judiciously saving its money to fix the trestle. We don't feel that it's our responsibility to fund the money to the state when we already provide so much in terms of sales tax. We need people who are willing to go to Olympia and ask, demand, that Woodinville gets what it deserves based on what it provides to the state coffers. So that's one aspect. The other one is to find other routes to downtown. We don't all need to travel on 175th. We need to look at 171st, we need to look at Little Bear Creek Parkway, and we also need to consider that we all can walk. We have walking beacons available for our pedestrians behind Hagen and Target. I think there's more to us than just the cars. So yes, we have a plan.
And that's a good one. That's a good one. School is out. And a second question, Ms. White could not be here today. This comes to us from Kevin, a Woodinville resident who asks, what is your plan in forming and recruiting residents and neighbors to form a city-sponsored community emergency response team to leverage city resources during weather emergencies and all matters of disasters that occur in and around Woodinville? Please express some ideas.
So our city manager has recently hired 2 assistants, and one of his assistants' jobs is to come up with an emergency plan. Now, part of that plan is to consult with the community and ask what is it that they can do, what are they willing to do. They are in the process of coming through what is it that the city can do, which is not an insignificant task. So the important consideration here is we need to figure out what we can provide, and then we can better tell the residents what they can provide. It doesn't make sense for us all to stand around and ask, well, what is it that we can do, what is it you can do? We need to have a structure in place, and from that structure, come up with a solution. So I'm all for having residents come in. I know we have a lot of ham radio operators. I know we have a lot of people in the community who know and care about these things. We have a lot of firefighters who live in the area, one sits on the dais with us. And it's important that we all take that input and bring it forth and do the best we can for Woodinville if there is such thing as an emergency these days.
And they're very well doing. Thank you very much for your time. That's council position candidate number 3, Rachel Best. If the candidates are comfortable taking their mask off to be heard better, that's certainly okay if you're comfortable. Okay, let's continue moving on. Council position number 4, Michael Millen, who stands unopposed in the race. We should have had everyone submit theme music for their walk up here. All right, Mike, you have 1 minute to give us an introduction. Please include why you're running and what your role should be.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, my name is Mike Millen. I'm running for council position number 4. I currently occupy that seat. I've been a long time Woodinville resident. Moved here in 1992. I worked with the Everett Fire Department for almost 30 years. I worked my way up to the station captain. I retired about 2 years ago. And after I retired, community service was in my blood, so I was looking at ways to continue community service here in Woodinville. And I applied for the planning position, and I was fortunate enough to be appointed to the planning commission. I served in that role, and when our former mayor, Elaine Cook, left to New Zealand, she asked me if I would consider running for her open seat, which I applied for, and again, I was fortunate enough to occupy that seat. So, public service, as I said, is in my blood, and I think that is important in that it's sometimes it's a thankless task, but we have lots of challenges in front of us in Woodinville with our growth, and we need a good council that's collaborative and working on this issue. And I think that I'm a good candidate to continue that.
Thank you, Mike. A question coming in to us, very direct from Lori, a Woodinville resident who just had a complaint about the lights at 132nd and 522 by the Dairy Queen. She says it's the worst in town, but we want to know, what locations in town specifically would you focus on transportation-wise and why?
That's a good question. I'm very aware of it. It is a priority issue of mine that we do have significant congestion in the downtown area, an area that you spoke of, Jake, is actually one of them near the trestle there. And we have plans for widening that trestle to alleviate that kind of roadblock there. It's kind of a choke point that slows down traffic all in that general area. One of the plans that we've been working on is to establish more grade roads, as Councilmember Best Campbell spoke of, that we can get more traffic, not just on 175th, but also on Little Bear Creek Road and 171st, which will alleviate some of that traffic. So those are issues that we are working on, and I think in the future we need to continue with that because there's a lot of development going on downtown. Along with that traffic, we do need to improve the walkability and the bike lanes for downtown, which will alleviate some of that traffic. In fact, I moved, my wife and I downsized, we moved downtown. I'm not sure I need a car anymore because we do walk everywhere, to the grocery store, to the bank.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I'm second, one more question for you before you go, Mike. Mike, we have one more question for you since you're unopposed. We want to make sure 2 questions are asked of every candidate. This one, what will you do to support a vibrant economy in our area?
That's another good question. When I first got on the city council, one of the first things I did was I met with several wine tasting winery owners at Garden Cellars. And I spoke to other business owners down in Wood Creek and around town. And one of the common threads that's almost universal is that we need to improve our permitting process. And that's another issue that I'm going to be working on diligently for you. And I think that'll improve our economy. Also, we need to work on our signage. We have issues with the signage so that we can identify our local businesses when people are visiting from town. Those A-frame sandwich boards are popping up all over the place. And I understand as a business owner why you want them, but it's really an inconsistent signage program. But what I want is to support our businesses here in Woodinville that have struggled in some cases during COVID.
Thank you, Mike. Michael Miller, thank you so much. So they're fixing the intersection at the trestle, huh? Is that real? All right. Good to hear. Even a Dairy Queen is such a pain. Right? All right, let's get to council position number 5. Our 2 candidates today, Jesse DeGroff and Sarah. Work like Leonard, but whatever. Yeah, no lifelines up here. Jesse, we'll start with you with a 1-minute introduction.
Okay, my name is Jesse DeGroff. I have my wife Bonnie and my 3 kids. We moved here in 2007 to Woodinville. We've lived all over the world, and this was a place that we felt was home. We just thought it was a great place to raise kids and to have a house and have a business startup, and we just absolutely loved it. My father was always in teaching us history lessons, and he was a professor, and he always taught us that we need to be actively engaged. And so I'm an entrepreneur to where I'm usually working 18, 20 hours a day, and I thought I had no chance to devote what I would want to do to a position like this. But COVID actually helped me restructure things, and it just came out of an opportunity where I felt my history that I'll be able to offer some things to that.
Thank you, Jesse. Ms. Arndt, would you like to have 1-minute introduction, please?
Hi, my name is Sarah Arndt, and I'm a relative newcomer to the city. I haven't been here 20 years, but I do plan to be here for the next 20 years and plan to raise my children in this community. I've been volunteering with the city on the Public Spaces Commission for the last 5 years. And fundamentally, I decided to run for city council because I care for this community. And I want to see it thrive, not just now, but into the future. If elected, I want to help Woodinville grow gracefully, so that 20 years from now, we have a community that our residents and our businesses are proud of and that works for us. For me, that means continuing to invest in our transportation infrastructure, adding some attainable housing options to our city center, protecting our environment, and ensuring that our city government is accessible, transparent, and representative.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. First question is for you. This is from Nancy Castle in Woodinville. She asks, what are the unique qualities that the city of Woodinville has compared to other areas of King County? How do you see those qualities continuing with the strong push from King County's planning policies and mandated growth targets? What ideas do you have to maintain the quality and character of Woodinville?
Well, there are some really amazing things about Woodinville. It is unique across King County. It's unique in our wine industry. It's unique in the green space and the open space that we have. Some of our neighborhoods, they are unique in the county urban environment because we are able to have larger lots. And I think concentrating our growth in the city center and where we can provide services and keep it in a relatively small footprint is one way that we can ensure that we're protecting those areas of Woodinville, the big trees, the big lots. I also believe that protecting and incubating our wine industry is really important. Places like the Warehouse District, where Sparkman used to be located, where wineries can get started and get established, are really important to being able to continue this environment that we have of creating opportunities for new wineries and building brands for the city of Woodinville. So those are key.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. Mr. DeGraff, you have a minute to respond to that same question.
I think I agree with all those things. I think what makes Woodinville unique and what people usually respond to me when I say Woodinville is that it's a fabulous place to raise a family. We have all different types of generations that live here and that have raised kids and empty nesters now or are starting up with families. I think the school systems are one of the things that makes this area such a good area to live in. Second, I think the businesses that are here are very supportive of each other, and I want to support that. I think as what I've done in construction and work with small business, in my experience, I think that needs to continue to happen. That bridge between the business and the citizen that lives here and what happens on city council, that's what's really going to make us thrive and continue to grow. We just need to all do this together.
Mr. DeGraff, you get the next question. How would you specifically assist existing businesses, and how will you attract new businesses to Woodinville?
So I consult for business. I built about 86 restaurants in the Seattle area for different franchises and startups. I do a lot of spaces like this beautiful place. With about the 8,000 different small businesses I've worked with, one of the things that we need to do is small business needs to innovate. COVID really threw everyone, including myself, for a loop. So we have to get creative not only in how we run businesses, but how we support our businesses. The cities can either make or break what happens to the city. And the city council needs to make sure that we have a voice, not only the voice of those business owners, but we also create opportunities to help them thrive, whether it's through signage, like was mentioned before, or even helping startups that happen. We have a beautiful downtown corridor we need to fill with wonderful local business.
Thank you. Ms. Hart, you have 1 minute to respond to that same question.
I think there's a lot of different ways we can assist our small businesses. One thing that most businesses need are employees. And so as a city, we can work to ensure that employees have easy access into our city, that's transportation options, and places to live nearby. So again, I go back to issues of transportation and housing. If our businesses in the city want to be able to grow and attract workers, we need to make it easy for those workers to access our city. So by providing easy ways for people to get in and out, places for them to live, we can assist small businesses who are dependent on that workforce.
All right, thank you very much. Time has expired. These are your two candidates for position number 5 for the city council, Jesse DeGroff and Sarah Hall. And our final council position is position number 7, James Randolph and Gary Harris. Make your way to the front. Very appropriate song choice, my friend here. It's my friend. After you're done, you get one, yes. Sure thing. Thank you both for being here today. We appreciate your time. Let's start with you, James. 1 minute for an introduction. Please tell us why you'd be the best candidate for position number 7.
I am looking to help Woodinville develop long-term plans. Oh, there we go, much better. I am looking to run for Woodinville City Council and elected. I would help Woodinville develop long-term plans to help it go through its growth in a way that does not affect the city and diminish its scale. As part of that, I believe that managing our growth is probably one of the largest issues. Managing our traffic by adding active walking spaces and bringing about transportation solutions that coincide with what we do in the county and doing public transit would make a huge difference for what we want to do here in Woodinville and expanding our options. I also believe in bringing a diverse and new point of view with new ideas, not just as a person of color, but also as a parent who has ideas about parks, recreation, and an understanding of how people grow and bring their parents.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. Mr. Harris. Yeah. Mr. Harris, 1 minute for you to introduce yourself, please.
It's on here. It's on.
Hello, my name is Gary Harris, and I'm the mayor of Woodinville. I have served on the city council for 3 years, and this January I was elected by my fellow council members as mayor. I enjoy this job, and I hope to continue doing this job. My wife and I have lived within 5 miles of where we're standing for the last 45 years. I have a 30-year continuous history of volunteerism. I'm a PTA president, Golden Acorn recipient, church council, Washington State Pharmacy Quality Assurance Commission chair, past president of the UW Pharmacy Alumni Association, co-chair for the School of Pharmacy for the University of Washington campaign, among other things. Many of these positions I have been the gavel holder, the presiding officer. I have done this before, I know what I'm doing. Woodinville is a thriving place right now. We are in excellent financial shape. There's been no new taxes since I've been on council. We are creating more residences and businesses are opening regularly. We are also paying attention to infrastructure, improving pedestrian safety and traffic flow.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. We want to get to our first question. The first is for you, Mayor Harris. How do you find the balance between maintaining agricultural land and open space compared to the development that is underway and planned for the future? And how do you prevent farmland from disappearing forever?
This is a topic that comes up quite often in Woodinville. And one thing that is somewhat misunderstood is that the agricultural land is not within the Woodinville city limits. Woodinville City Council is limited in what we can do to control the agricultural land. We can incentivize people who are there, maybe illegally or under suspicious circumstances. We can incentivize them to move to a tourist business area within the city and be legal. We can cooperate with King County to do the best we can to inhibit further encroachment into the agricultural land. But the permitting process, the policing is really beyond the scope of the city of Woodinville to do.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Randolph, you have 1 minute to respond to the question about our agricultural land.
Of course, Gary is correct about the city not having jurisdiction within the farmland. However, I do believe that we have a statement and something to say in terms of making sure that they're supporting those lands and coming through with a collaborative point of view and understanding what we can do to make sure that that land is not lost forever. Whether that means incentivizing people that may be going astray with certain businesses, or incentivizing building up the character and supporting those agricultural lands, whether it be from our own tourism, by supporting miners and making that actually part of what we do. So this is our land, and understanding that that character that's provided by agricultural land is actually part of the character of the city. I think it's what people come here for, and what they come here for to see is the agricultural land that gives us the character that compares us to its Sonoma and other mines.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. You did the second question first, sir. People are getting priced out of their homes. What is your plan to address the issue of affordable housing in Woodinville? You have 1 minute.
Affordable housing is probably one of the most difficult issues that we face as a city. I actually came here about 8 years ago because I was priced out of some place. I wanted to raise my family in a place where I had a home. And at the point when I moved, my wife and I saved as diligently as possible, and then only saw very small spaces for our young family. That made us move to Woodinville. We actually set up an anchor, and we love the surrounding area, the old groceries, and everything that the city provides. But how we come about with development that can be well priced for citizens, we have to collaborate with developers that come to the city. That's really the only way that we can move those types of things forward. Because the market will actually drive up the price, as I've seen in my personal experience. Working with developers probably the only way.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. Mr. Harris, you also have 1 minute to respond to the question on the affordable housing. Sure. People are getting priced out of their homes. What is your plan to address the issue of affordable housing?
Okay. So the Growth Management Act tells all of us cities how many new housing units we have to have. We have to plan for growth. So we can't just say, well, we're not going to build any houses. The city of Woodinville has, or we are working on a plan for affordable housing. The 85 or the 80% AMI or 50% AMI average median income. Median income in this area is still around $100,000, so 80% is still a fairly large number for buying a house. But we need to be a little more forceful, I guess is the word I've used, in having developers say, okay, we need X number of units at 80% AMI. We need X number of units at 50% AMI. And those are things that you need to do in order for us to let you build your project.
Thank you both for your time. And these are your 2 candidates for position number 7. James Randolph and Gary Harris. Thank you to all the candidates for the City of Woodinville City Council. We want to shift gears a little and invite the candidates for Woodinville Fire Commissioner up today, one at a time. They will each have 2 minutes to provide a statement. allowing voters in the community to get to know them a little bit better. We're going to start with our Woodinville Fire and Rescue Commissioner, position number 3, with Angela Martin. You can make your way up, please, Angela. You can pick your wine barrel here. Barrel A or barrel B. You have 2 minutes.
Smarter than the, I don't have the option to keep the barrel. Thank you for inviting me today. You probably don't hear from Fire Commissioner opponents very often, so I want to say thank you. I never thought I would be running for public office, but the last year, and the very candid here, watching the lack of ethics with the discussions that happened before show, I thought to myself, I can either sit back and be unhappy as an elected official, or I can remain run for office. So that is why I'm here today. I have served in the fire service for 32 years. I started in the Air Force right out of high school as a firefighter. From there, I have held every position, from firefighter all the way up to chief officer. I'm currently the fire marshal in the city of Renton. I worked in the Renton RFA. So, one of the things I talked to a few folks in the audience today was I have a very close relationship with our Chamber of Commerce in Renton. A lot of folks don't think of the regulatory aspect of the fire department and how that affects businesses. Those of you that own a business are probably well aware of that. So goals for me as we move forward, if I get elected, are really to work on a smooth transition in this new contract with Eastside Fire. There's been a lot in the news about that. From my personal view, we can't continue to be little fiefdoms of fire departments. It's not cost effective. Fire service is very expensive. We're going to see more consolidations, and so this contract really provides cost savings for businesses and the taxpayers. It also provides continuity of operations and a better service level for our community. So I'm supportive of the contract, and I want to help with this new transition. I also want to help the business community. COVID has been very hard. From a regulatory standpoint, there are a lot of things that we can be much more timely and responsive in trying to help. Finding ways to do tents and things like that. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. That's super often. So I want to be a part of that. And the last thing that I want to put a focus on is diversity and equity in the fire service. I've been a woman in the fire service. It's kind of an anomaly. We're starting to see more changes towards that. Chief Clark from the Eastside Fire has been very, very involved in the county level with trying to provide more equity and diversity. I will be an advocate of that. Having been in a role in a fire department where there were a lot of women, I certainly understand the aspect of that.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you for your time. Angela Martin. We want to welcome Tim Osgood to the podium, 2, candidate for position 3. Mr. Osgood, we want the community to get to know you better. You have 2 minutes.
Hello. My name is Tim Osgood, and I am looking to be re-elected as your fire commissioner. And I proudly carry the endorsements of local fire unions and a multitude of local businesses and labor unions. I would like to thank Woodinville Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to speak here and for the leadership they provide to our business communities. I recently retired from the fire service after faithfully serving the North Shore Fire Department for over 34 years. I am also finishing my 24th year here at Woodinville. My early days as a fire commissioner allowed me to work closely with our new city and our new city council members in formulating levels of fire protection services, land use and acquisition, and vision for what our new city and our growing fire department might look like. It's pretty awesome where we are today. Another opportunity I was given roughly 5 years ago was to represent the King County Fire Commissioner, all of King County, on a blue ribbon committee, a regional E911 one oversight committee. It was a very contentious, this had people from the city of Seattle and the whole region, and our opportunity was to establish what our next generation E911 system would be and have. I was proud to hold that deciding vote to move it to what it is now and what's being implemented. Throughout the years, Woodinville Fire has been known as a well-managed and a fiscally responsible fire department. It is why we've always been an attractive partner to regionalization. As you heard from my opponent, Woodinville Fire has recently signed an interlocal agreement with Eastside Fire. It's effective on October 1st. We're still working on specific details as to what that looks like. But rest assured, I will continue to strongly advocate for our Woodinville community. I'd like to finish by saying thank you to the local businesses and the residents that have provided never-ending support in what we do to make this all possible.
Thank you. Thank you. We now want to move on to Woodinville Fire and Rescue Commissioner position number 5. Our first candidate to speak will be Dr. Collins. Mr. Collins, you make his way to the podium. You have 2 minutes, but this music is going to continue as you speak.
It just goes on and on, doesn't it? Thank you. Thanks, Jake. Good afternoon. I'm running for re-election for position number 5. I've been on the board for 8 years. I came to the board because I was involved with the transaction with the fire department where I actually bought the old station. And I had an insight into how the district was run financially. And I thought, being a business owner for the last 35 years, I thought I could bring some fiscal responsibility to the fire district. And I believe I've done that over the last 8 years. I moved to Woodinville with my lovely wife, Kim, and we raised 2 lovely daughters right on top of Hollywood Hill here 35 years ago. We moved here. I'm invested in this community heavily. I have a business here that employs 200 people. We enjoy living here. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. I love being on the board. I consider it a volunteer position. I'm not doing this for any type of political gain. I'm not accepting any kind of campaign contributions. I am here to represent only the citizens of Woodinville Fire. And I look forward to doing that for another 6 years.
Dr. Collins, thank you, sir. Our second candidate for position number 5 is Art Cole. We'll see how this goes. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Cole.
Good afternoon. I'd like to make sure that we acknowledge the chamber responsible for putting this up for everyone to be able to see and also to have this straight at the same time. I'm running for position 5. I think the community deserves a commission with transparency, also with integrity, and also with leadership, and also being responsible to the citizens fiscally, financially, to the taxpayer. I spent 40 years in the fire service, going from a volunteer all the way up to a fire chief. 5 years ago, I set up the biggest regional fire authority in state history. That's not the fact anymore. That was 5 years ago. So regionalization is very good for the community and also for the taxpayers. If you look at the history of regionalization around the 1990s, the state legislation came out and wanted to make fire districts and fire departments for less than 50,000 people into one organization. Unfortunately, none of the leaders at that time that are no longer in position did not see that. Unfortunately, they didn't take the lead of California, where they combined a tremendous amount of fire departments as one organization. I started 2 nonprofits here in the state of Washington, 501c3s, that produce emergency housing and backpack programs, also to feeding programs and displaced people from fires. I've also been in a leadership position as the vice chair of the National Medical Working Group, which is comprised of 28 ESAR teams, urban search and rescue teams that go nationally and also internationally. I volunteer for 2 nonprofits that go to Southeast Asia. We work for the Thai and Cambodian, and also the French government to instruct their firefighters in firefighting and also for emergency medical services. My wife and I have been in this community for 24 years.
If you want to finish your thoughts, you can.
Yes. And we raise children here, and we still love it in this community here. And my goal, again, is to help the community any way I can, and that's why I'm running for position 5 Commissioner for Woodinville Fire.
Art Cole, thank you so much, sir. You got your music. We want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you for the Woodinville Chamber for having me. Thank you to Sparkman for having us as well. Remember to get engaged, encourage your friends and family to turn those ballots in by November 2nd, Election Day. We also encourage you to watch Keep My Mornings tomorrow, starting at 4:30. And we'll give Kimberly Ellis back to the podium for a quick remark before we all stand up. Kimberly Ellis.
Thank you. Can everyone join me in giving Jake a huge round of applause? We're very lucky to have him. Go vote, he said. Just a few quick announcements. Again, thank you to Sparkman Sellers for hosting, Alexis Cafe and Catering for catering, David Inman Productions for his assistance with our live stream, and GSC Productions for our sound, as well as our wonderful sponsors today, Woodinville Weekly, Service Master of Seattle, and Fairwinds for E-Park. We truly could not have done this without all of the support of the business community. We're so happy that all of you were able to join us today. A big round of applause for our candidates for the city of Woodinville and the Woodinville Fire Commissioners. It takes a lot of guts to come up here and do what you did, so thank you. And thank you to everyone for joining us on today's live stream. Thank you for joining us on today's live stream. If you want to get more involved in the Woodinville Chamber, feel free to reach out to us. Check out our upcoming events at woodinvillechamber.org. For those members or guests who are listening, we have 3 events coming up in October. We are doing a networking night at Securite. Our next monthly luncheon will be held at Chateau Lille outdoors under the tent. And then at long last, October 28th, we will be doing a ribbon cutting at the new schoolhouse district. So hopefully you all can join us there. And finally, check out celebratewoodinville.com over the next few weeks, as we will begin announcing plans for Winterfest taking place December 4th this year. That's a great event that the Chamber brings to the community in support from the city of Woodinville. So, with that said, thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Yeah.